They're with me.
Community, we pray that you would give us wisdom that would be in your will. We pray that you would give us a spirit of peace and understanding of one another as we try to come together to solve the problems today and those problems that we may face into the future. We also pray for those people affected by the wildfires in California, and as always our military members serving overseas. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge of allegiance. I
Alderman Curtis. Here. Alderman Brown.
Here.
Alderman Voss.
Here.
Alderman McComb.
Here.
Alderman Curtis.
Here.
Alderman Bratt.
Here.
Alderman Bastian.
Here.
Alderman Campos. Here. And Alderman Hickman.
Here.
I am here. All right. Brian Manwaring, after some complaints from the public about the inability to hear members of city staff, members who are giving public comment during the meetings, we did install a couple of microphones which are from the ceiling, and those feed into the be aware of those. I haven't tested them out for sensitivity or anything of that nature, but you know, I think the Bible says those things whispered in private will be shouted from the rooftop, so maybe that's what they were talking about. Just be aware of that new installation. With that being said, we have the first item up on the agenda is consideration of council minutes from July the 24th, 2018, included in the packet. I'd entertain questions or amendments to the minutes at this time. Hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Second. We have a motion. Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next we have a consideration of accounts payable, accounts receivable, and payroll registers. I believe we had an additional register that was handed out just before the meeting. I'd entertain any questions on those at this time. Gloria, did you have something?
Yes, 690. LGHP, what is it for?
Gloria, can you tell me what is the amount?
Yeah.
This is the local standards dues, Chief Roberts?
Thank you. There is another one. This is for
Mr. Mills?
We had to buy dirt to finish the job.
Thank you.
Other questions from the council on the bills? Mr. Brown?
Same register, page 8. The window tinting for $695. Berto Tomas, I'm not pronouncing that right, but I'm not, I apologize.
BJ doesn't run a window tinting business and lives just outside the city limits.
Yeah. Most of them around here.
Okay, on page 11. On the refrigerant, or does anybody know, on City Hall?
Yeah. Center.
And they had to add refrigerant?
Yes.
Okay. Then on the new register that we just picked up, 698. I might have missed something on this one because I looked at it pretty quick, but how many 2 or 3 year old vehicles do we have now?
We so
Okay.
we've managed to.
The truck we ordered back 8 months ago for the sewer plant, as quick as you get a charger.
Thank you, Alderman Bradman. Any other questions or comments on the payable receivable? Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying.
Thank you, Mayor. We have no business under old business, no business under new business. Is there any public comment under budget and finance? No public comment? Any about budget and finance?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Pittman. That takes us to building and grounds, chaired by Alderman Gary McCall. Gary?
There's no old business. Under new business, painting the fire station too.
I believe Mr. Urbis has this added to the agenda.
Yeah, here I had that put on, one of our residents really said that, brought it to my attention, and I went and looked at it. I don't know if anyone else has looked at it lately. It's pretty bad shape.
Talking about one line, 17th Street.
Right.
Yeah, we've been better off years ago to sell that to Mike. I know we've had to go up and nail the can on the side back down and everything
Yeah,
else.
it's metal siding, how much it's gonna cost, but I think we should look into it.
Are you talking about our guys painting it or contracting it out?
I'm not talking about anything other than
Well, we can look into getting some bids on it. I'm trying to get some bids on the fountain uptown now. We can look in trying to get somebody to see what it costs to paint it. Yeah.
I'm not sure that Public Works has got the manpower right now to take on a paint job up there.
it's a pretty big job.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff that they're working on and they haven't got to yet. I don't know, they did a few sidewalks, but very, very, very few, so I guess what I'm trying to say is unless something drastically changes, I don't think that we ought to even really hope that Public Works can do it at this time.
Well, we can,
Quick question, Gary. I just wanted, Chief Swafford, I don't know if you have any recollection of when the last time that building was painted?
Well, I don't think within a.
That was 30-year paint, wasn't it? Probably got to be power wash before you do anything.
Yeah.
That's something.
And there may be.
Alderman McComb, would we want to let Chief Swafford perhaps, solicit some people to come just take a look at it and get some ballpark estimates on what it might cost?
yeah, because we need to look at, Who's got the keys that need to be looked at on the inside to see what the beams and everything else, if any of them has to be replaced while we're doing it. I mean, we're sticking a lot of money into something that, I mean, we own, so, I mean, we're gonna have to upkeep it, just like the roads in the alley.
Correct.
Is that metal nailed on there?
Yes.
That's one of the big problems, should have been screwed. So, well, you can investigate a sheet, different sheets and whatever, and maybe come through and re-screw it off and secure it rather than have to replace it, whatever. That metal is expensive.
Well, I think the fire department's probably the only one we got keys to, because we do store other stuff in that building.
Might be able to recycle metal and have enough money to build two stations.
Possible. Maybe so.
Okay.
That's all we have under new business. Any public comment on building and grounds?
Yeah, my name's Rob. The neighbor behind me has put dirt, which it doesn't show where. So, you know, it's city property. There's only one place. So that's what I'd like to get checked out.
And Leslie, you want to make sure to make a note for me, please, that we add that to the agenda to our next meeting so we can take some action on it.
I did do the survey, go out and measure it. And down the back, the other end of the alley, close to the end of it, there's a real big tree in the middle of it. But I'm sure we're not gonna take the tree out, but we could probably rock. Me and Danny's gonna try to figure out the stakes there by Mr. Moorfield's home. There's a survey stakes there, and it comes like 258 feet off that back. And I had no way to, I just measured it. It's not down to the camp or an nest. It's down probably within a foot. We need to go out there, we get something to shoot a straight line from that stake all the way back. And we'll know where the far corner is on the back, and we'll know where the line is in the alley. And that's where we're at now. Me and Danny been working on it. I just asked Darren if they had something that we could shoot a straight line down there. We go with a string line, but that's not as good as a survey.
Yeah.
So when there was survey marks on the other end, but I think the person back there had them removed.
Okay.
And I was telling Danny that for the and Gary's got and the and when Mark, he said feet. So the pin out by the top, it's not so Mr. Hill and he it's so, you know, I'm
The agenda item that we would like to address at the next meeting would be the dirt and the spigot in the
yes,
town.
yes, but
You have something?
It was fun. Through years. That
Would you like to look at it? It's what? $58. I'm not proposing to change that, I'm proposing rocking it all the way out because they have pushed dirt all across it now. Darren and them had to go back to the sewer line. They cut that down back there. I think he's got, it needs to come off. But it goes back, according to these prints, 200 and about 58 feet from the pin that's set there by the pole.
We just
That's
that one that would determine.
This too long whenever we can't take action. I don't, certainly discussions healthy, but Mr. Bratton.
I just got one simple question, and I think Alderman McComb and I can pretty well get this worked out. If we can't, we may have to go to somebody that can give us the points to measure from. Richard, where do we go to get a copy of the new description so we can get the correct measurement? Then that way.
Yeah. Is the city property? I think it's just gonna make for sure that we can drive back there to get that sewer line. I'm not trying to move west, north, south. I'm trying to get a beginning point and an ending point so the city can go ahead and take care of that alley. I think that's what they wanted all the way along.
Just like I spoke to you and your wife out there, Gary and I are going to do our very best to try to get the last. It seemed like when he was available, I wasn't, and vice versa, so it just, you know, it just kind of worked out that way. But it's not a forgotten subject, you know that. And,
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any more public comment?
Thank you, Alderman McComb, Mr. Whitehill. That takes us to Community Relations, chaired by Alderman John Irvis. John?
All right, thank you, Mayor. Old business, status update on the Aaron franchise. Anything?
significant amount of use, but they still have the continue to get the fund. Council also.
So you're promising we'll have something to vote on at our next meeting?
We can have.
Mr. Brown, you recommend we do that then?
Yes, just go ahead and get that.
All right, thank you. The next item, discussion regarding agreement between the Egyptian Building and Construction Trades Council and the City Limits. Discussion.
Ms. Campos?
Thank you. To begin with, I just want to say my husband is a union member and I do support the unions, but I do not support this. I can't. Big trouble with the last email with item number 3. We cannot force anybody to become a It is, I don't think that we have that authority to force anybody to do anything. And for that, you have me, oh no, I can't support this. We are of our community that they don't belong to a union, and we cannot require them to belong to one to perform to any services or do jobs to our city. So I don't think that of our small community.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. McComb?
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the original agreement that the Egyptian Building and Construction Trades it's worked well in Marion, it's worked well in Carbondale. And I make a motion we accept it the way it was originally wrote by the building trade.
Is there a second?
No, I still had a question. Is it okay?
Yeah, I mean, right now there's not a second.
Okay.
I'm going to second.
Okay.
I was giving him an opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, still time for discussion.
Yeah, okay. It's my understanding that this has been outlawed in 20-plus states. Last meeting, I was 100% against it. I had it kind of confused with private development, and I didn't want to mess the hotel up and this other stuff. Since then, and I spoke to one of the DAs, who was very nice. And I was a union contractor for 33 years, is that we have a prevailing wage, which also includes the wage and all their benefit package that we have agreed to, and we do every year, we renew that. And that's so things can be on a level playing ground. If you got 8,000, I think that the state we had 800 union members, just rounded up to 1,000. That means we got 7,000 other people. Cut that in half to 4,000 because of kids. And then we're still people living in town. And I don't know this for example, but I've cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half. And to me, to dictate somebody that they become a union for the purpose of this project, 45 years. he was saying that we should pass this, and I understand the building trades want it passed, and if I was in their position, I'd want it passed too. But he also stated we'll be glad to work with anybody. And you can, if I'm a non-union contractor and a low bidder and the city decides to go with me, I can sign a one-time job agreement that this is what they've got, because I've seen it happen over the years. Being elected by my neighbors and friends who are union, that I can vote for this. So, I mean, and that's all, but I do want to put that out there. And we'll just see how it goes. I wish Barb could be here tonight, but she's on vacation. I respect that, but we've got I'm done.
I will second Gary's motion.
Okay.
It's on the table.
Any other, I have a few comments.
Yeah,
I
go.
want to speak first.
I made a lot of phone calls after the last meeting. I reached out to a lot of non-union contractors, ones that this would directly affect, and it was pretty much unanimous. None of them will even put in a bid if we sign this agreement. And a handful of them have been the lowest bid that we've taken within the last 12 months. I think we're eliminating, potential bidders that, you're raising your price point at that point. If somebody knows that there's a limited amount of people putting in bids, then, I don't know. There's nothing about that. Focus on it, so.
There we go, about 7,000 to 8,000 people, not down the board. How many people in this town we have works construction on major jobs? It's not all that many that work major construction jobs that live in this town. I mean, you can compare 8,000 people, and it don't matter the job, he's going to have to pay prevailing wage. It's not costing any more to have that well-trained. All these unions have got apprentice programs that their crafts go through. I know if I'm non-union, I can hire a guy off the street today and pay him what I want to pay him, as long as I pay him prevailing wage, and working like a dog. I mean, the union protects your right to work. I mean, I'm like Danny, I've been a member of the Labor for 42 and IBW 10 years before that. But there is cases where you got two gates for union and non-union to go in. You build Walmart or Cargill, some of us build union, some of us build non-union. They have two different gates.
Right now, we can do that. If we sign this, we can't.
You don't have anything over, what, 100,000?
Yeah, but you're talking about contractors as well. I mean, that's one job contractors, and that.
It's going to affect, and that's maybe the motel, and he's already got a union contractor in.
Well, it wouldn't affect them because that. Get the bid. I'm saying, what. Whether it's 500 more, right now, we sign this and they go. They don't have that.
I don't think we have the moral authority to do that. We don't have the moral authority to indicate somebody, you must go to a union if you want to perform this type of job for the city. But for that simple reason. It is not my job, it is not my duty.
I just had a couple comments, and I read through it several times, and was troubled by some of the language, and also was not in it. It doesn't even define what a construction project is. There's no definition in there. It seems like $100,000 is a very low threshold. I have to consider the benefit that's being derived by the city and its taxpayers, and I just don't see it in this agreement. Like Danny, I did some research. There's 24 states that have banned these, state legislatures have banned these for state and local government. To me, it just decreases competition, defeats the competitive bidding process, increases the cost.
To be clear though, the motion that was made was to vote on the one that we got last meeting, not this one that we got in.
The motion was made to vote on the original building trades agreement without having this other stuff. That's the motion on that. Take the original agreement, just like Carbondale and Marion stuff.
The original agreement was for bidding that Murphysboro right at Marion on last, so which one are you talking about?
Talking about the building trades agreement.
Well, the one we got last time, didn't have Murphysboro in it, it had Marion in it.
Talking about the same one Marion and Carbondale we got.
All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor to adopt the proposal, I presume, with just the city of Murphysboro, of course, replacing the city of Marion, and I believe that's what the motion is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ready to vote, all in favor, aye?
Better roll call.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
5 noes and 3 yeses.
The motion fails. New business, request for street closures and security assistance for electric customers. Letter in the packet. Health Festival Committee.
Thanks, guys, for being here.
Thank you.
I believe that these closures are very similar to any that we've seen in the past. I'm not sure whether Chief Roberts or perhaps Chief Swafford or any of them, I didn't really get an update on if there's anything additional.
The barbecue contest, I brought their paper and it's the original, I'm not expanding it, what they can every year.
And the Apple Festival.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Those passed. Public comment for Senior Village.
All right, thank you, Mr. Furley. To public improvement, Chair by Mr. Mike Bass.
And I don't know what that is. I don't put it on.
That was, I had that added for Alderman Bastion, and I do apologize. I do try to at least let the chair people know what things I have. But
That's what we do now.
so, with Eric Kennedy here this evening, but Mobile Ranch Trailer Park is under new management. Just before the meeting, Leandra handed out a list of various violations. I believe the highlighted ones are those in Mobile Ranch in this list. And I wanted to just bring out in the open the fact that we need to have, and I would like to request this evening, the council to consider a vote, and although I don't even think we need a vote, but I'd like to sort of put an official stamp on it, to have an inspection done by our code department of Mobile Ranch, lay it down alongside our existing housing code, and get an inventory and a report of all the issues there. Because the issues are such that, I've been down there a couple times, they did not pay for their city mobile home license in 2017. I have not signed their permit to operate for this year, and they have not paid for this year $1,370. And I just believe that the conditions there are unacceptable, and it's time to do something about it. I don't want to run anybody out of their home because people on all rungs of the economic ladder have to live somewhere. But I think that there are people there being taken advantage of by disingenuous ownership. And I wanted to bring that discussion out here tonight. So, thoughts? I'm welcome.
I counted 12 violations here.
And I think that if we went through, Leandra, I'm sure you could speak to, and Blaine Enzor also, the multitude of issues that we have there from time to time. Blaine?
Yeah. Speak for Eric, I've done a quick, just drive by. We're down there about every day, and just the numbers of trailers, like total counts and livability, kind of a general view, and I think I calculated somewhere around 1/3 were either completely not livable or very questionable, and 2/3 maybe livable. Some of them obviously, but some maybe. 2/3 maybe. So just in 13, I can count off on my hand that you got me to come out of there without even going in.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing you're looking at in terms of the living conditions. So yeah, I think probably something does need to be done.
Mr. Bratton, did you have something?
Yes, I did. I think this is great to bring this up, and as long as legal says we can do that, I think we ought to. Let me throw some more mud in the slough. With this, to have a master meter for the water so we don't have to read 300 meters out there and walk through the trash and everything else. I understand it was taken off, they were individually metered. Our water meter guy goes out there reading. Some of the stuff you wouldn't want to read, but I got it because there'd probably be a snake there or a rat or whatever, or I wouldn't want to, but I'm afraid of snakes. It's terrible. We don't know how many breaks in the water lines there are, how much water we're losing. That ought to be under a master meter, and if they want to meter it from there, let them do it. We got new owners. Now would be, I believe, an ideal time to do that if we can. Throw that out there.
Danny, I think you make a good point. I don't know if Tim Lee, we talk about that. There's probably some history as to why that was done the way it was done that I don't recall.
A master meter does exist there now, as well as individual meters. And I think the question came up originally was how many services there were that were, in service. The people were making a minimum bill, and you'd have to weigh that minimum bill versus what the minimum bill would be for a 4-inch meter and see if you're going to lose money in the long run. Now, maintenance-wise, all we maintain down there are the meters themselves. Everything else belongs to the park. So, but it is, 2 to 3 hour job to go down there and read that, and the conditions are less than favorable. I read meters. I quit reading probably about 17 years ago, and that place was pretty nice. It's nothing like that now.
Yeah.
Mr. Blake, I think Mr. Bratton had sort of directed
And Tim may know some more about through the EPA. If we're saying you're going to get water with the EPA to have this some part. They have
where we have a master meter on something. I know this has been done before in town.
I think Harold might be able to answer this, but I think it depends on how many customers you have, whether or not you will be you count your own water system, if it was, if it's 100 or 200, maybe, you know,
That's right.
it's-
See what that, I know. It's just the way it's been done. So we can check tomorrow and try to find out.
But yeah, as far as the water loss, that was the reason for the master meter, is so that the water that, since it was their system, or they owned the water mains inside the park, wherever there was a leak, well, the connection between our main and distribution to their water meters, if there was ever a leak, we couldn't bill that water. So now, whoever owns the park, the customers pay for the water that goes through their meters to their residences, and any water lost has gone through the master meter, so they'll get a separate bill to the owner that'll pick up that extra cost.
I wasn't aware of that. I should have been. I mean, it's my fault that I didn't know that, but that makes it somewhat better, but I think we definitely need to make sure it gets cleaned up. I mean, there's small children living down there.
Dan, I think it's more than cleanup. There's actually uninhabitable trailers in there that need to be gone.
I'm not accused of being too nice about something very often, but I guess you can accuse me of that.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Blake, in terms of the, I discussed in my opening comments, I suppose, you know, the motion would simply be to conduct an inspection of the existing trailers and make a report of those which don't comply with the city housing code.
Yes, and probably any other.
All right, well, that's what I would like, a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Bastian.
It's like, there's no more Alderman comment. Do we have any public comment? With that being said, I'll close public improvement.
Thank you again, Alderman Bastian. That takes us to...
Okay, under old business, new business, consider intergovernmental agreement for maintenance of the water main on whatever road that is off the Amy Blacktop.
Dagan Hart. This is the infamous Dagan Hart Road water main. I'll take a Stephen King movie about it. But there, so we're gonna have to maintain.
How many water meters we got out there on that road? Four?
Four?
Yeah. That cost us, what, about 35,000 or so to get it put in?
I think it was, yeah, just under that.
Pardon?
I think it was just under that. I don't recall
Okay.
the final. Well, can I tell you what we normally do? Usually it's standard after 1 year that we take over maintenance responsibility on this.
Tim, I have a little bit.
I said it's standard maintenance on a water main like this.
Okay, okay. Do I have a motion to accept this intergovernmental agreement given by Alderman Compost? Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Next thing we have is consideration of resolution for funding for the 2018 street over.
Shepard, do you want to speak to this, any?
I hope. Sure.
This is, I
I have a question or a clarification, and then we'll take the motion in a second on it. Mr. Shepherd, and Mr. Evans, then this still leaves us enough to where we can look at the road to the sewer plant and also 7th Street.
Well,
I just wanted to question. Then a second by, okay, Mr. Irving, okay, all in favor, aye? The ayes have it. Okay, do we have any public comments? Not seeing any, we'll come out of public works.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bratton. That takes us to Public Safety, chaired by Mr. Russell Brown. Russell?
Got no business, everything on the old business. New business, got a request to declare $2,005 the regular surplus.
Might have motion.
So I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay. Next one is discussion regarding sidewalks.
I have that placed on the agenda, Alderman Brown.
Okay.
Couple things worth noting. One, I believe it was out of Decatur. There was a case before the Supreme Court recently where a person in the city of Decatur was held liable for a person who had tripped on some broken sidewalk, and I'm not sure what injuries they sustained, but it was the first time that a municipality had been, I believe, and I don't know the case inside and out. Richard, I don't know if he's heard of this or not, but so this person was, the city had to pay, essentially. And it calls in, question and discussion that actually comes from our comprehensive planning work we've been doing, and also from social media. Sidewalk is probably it may not be the number one, but it's always in the top 3 issues that people just generally are concerned about in Murphysboro. And it's not really unique to Murphysboro. You can go to any small town in southern Illinois and you can find plenty of sidewalk that's in disrepair. But I asked Scott Evans, we just got done talking about motor fuel projects, to take a look at what it would, I guess not what it would cost, but whether or not we could implement a sidewalk capital program in 2019. And I think we ought to spend $100,000 next year pouring sidewalk in this community. That is how much that I hear about it from residents. People want it, and I know that there'd be ways that we could approach it to really stretch that dollar. So it's just something I wanted to bring up because it is a public safety issue. And I know we have a sidewalk program, but there are a multitude of sidewalks that are not in front of people's homes. And those sidewalks are the ones that, the sidewalk program, in my opinion, is more built for. The ones like along 14th Street that travel alongside someone's home that are in disrepair, those are more thoroughfares for pedestrians. And I think we ought to do something about it. So, and Scott, I don't know if you want to speak to this in terms of what. So
I think it'd also be nice, keep in mind, we're looking at hiring that part-time grant writer. I think that's something that we should make a priority for them to try and find some money out there that I know there's stuff available for that kind of thing. With our population and, economy, I'm sure we would qualify for some of that. It's just a matter of finding it and getting it in the paper and turning it in.
Sure. Mr. Brett?
While we're talking, more than that, and I think this next budget comes up, start a contingency fund for that, because around, I think, $650 for a new one,
Yeah,
so.
If I I know Mr. Irvis, you got something to that. And I agree with you, that Vector truck's a big expense that's coming down the road, but we always need to remember that motor fuel money is tagged for, only for very specific things.
Correct.
And
I
the
know that.
sidewalk is one of them. And so, we wouldn't be able to expend that this day on a Vector truck.
Correct. And that's something they use probably 4 days a week,
Yeah.
at least 3.
Mr. Irvis, and then I'll go down to Mr. Voss.
I support that, South 20th Street is going to cave in someday, we need to look at that. There's all sorts of issues.
I'm sorry, what? What was it?
South 20th Street?
Mr. Voss?
Oh, I'm just talking to Mr. Evans' point, and we can sit up. Consider. The funds are earmarked for, so it's a good use of those funds.
Thank you.
It's gonna go to remove the trees that caused the problem to start with. All those trees are gonna have to come out. It's the sidewalk between a tree and a curb, and it falls in the street, it belongs to the city. And we're still letting people plant between the sidewalk that we don't take care of. You can drive Spruce Street or down through there, and there's stuff planted in the last 6 or 7 years. And the power companies already have to trim a lot of it. But we got an ordinance that says you can't do it, but we don't stop it. So where do you go to from there?
That's a great point, Gary, because there is a lot of it that's caused that way, and we're going to replace some of the worst, but stuff's going to have to come out.
Some of them gumball trees.
For a while. And I'm glad and happy to see this, and it is a public safety concern. The other day I saw an electric wheelchair on the road on 14th Street because the sidewalk. So
I wish you could.
Be thinking about, and I'm going to be thinking about ways to go about this, how we ought to identify, if this is something we decide to undertake, how do we identify those that are the most vital, and how we go about completing the work.
there is one more thing, Mayor. During the tour of the sidewalks the other day, it would be possible to spray some weed killer on them, because of the weeds that they're growing there. So and people walk, especially wheelchairs. And so a little bit of weed killer will help to alleviate some of the need.
Them cleaning all the trees out has helped a bunch.
Bless you.
I don't else on that matter at this time.
You were talking about it, I haven't listened.
Now this doesn't include what we have left. But those, and I guess be sure Tim gets a copy and can help us out.
I got it.
The one on Bridge Street down there, you can't even open it.
Yeah. But it's right on down, just past where it's going towards.
Well, they need to be repaired. You gotta get all over.
Well, Tim can tell.
Yeah, I know.
Last year we were able to fix a lot of them that weren't draining. We dug them up and drilled out the leak holes and we were able to help that. So we'll just go back to work on them.
Do your magic.
Really try.
Well, and you talk about a grant writer, you know, I think this might fall in these categories available. But Mr. Shepherd.
Did send a letter in their loan program right now. So, I mean, in other words, $2 million project, $500,000. So that is a very good program to take advantage of. I mean,
So with that, is there a floor on the amount of money you can borrow?
For the maximum here it's 7 with 1.5. What typically would have to be done would be to put a funding nomination in January. I mean, or you can start that just goes through the loan process. There's no guarantee it would be funded. 20% next year with.
Is it just water and water?
Sewer. Some other parameters. I think the maximum sewer is 60%, but I think Murphysboro might qualify for 40 or 45% sewer. So I mean, it works both ways in water and sewer. But
so if we were to want to replace all of these hydrants, you're saying that there would be money available currently at a 75% forgiveness rate, but by the time that we applied, that rate could be different.
it could be different. Yeah, they change every fiscal year, so start in July.
So you have to apply knowing what the forgiveness rate will be.
Yes, that's exactly right. Make it responsible. Get it in there, and it puts you on the list. Is that available for the water line?
You know, we just voted on a resolution for
I think.
the overlay project on South 20th Street down there. Are we doing, is that included in this overlay?
No, because
Okay.
we were going to get it in
I don't know. We haven't got any response back from,
No, but I was gone last week, so.
okay, that's right.
It's inspection crew coming in there TVing those lines out there, sewer lines, so maybe get it cheaper while they're in town.
Or if there was down by the,
Down by the river, yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
It's all in the public section, any public comments?
I would talk about the sidewalk. Is there any way that we could get the tree limbs trimmed up when you go through and do any of the sidewalk repair? Because there's several streets, you have to walk out in the street. You can't even walk on the sidewalk because of the tree limbs.
That's right.
Darren back there.
So,
That's the one. And then they've got so many days to take care of. If they don't, then we do it and they get charged for it, so. But until it's brought to our attention, you know.
yeah, there were several, I think it was like on 19th Street, because I walked that going, used to go to my brother's house over there. Oh my, they're terrible through there. Very terrible. So just as an FYI, that when you fill in for the sidewalk, or if you want to, perforate it now to look and see where they're at, maybe we could do that. And also, one other question, when the school buses travel on the roads, is there any way that we can get the tree limbs trimmed for the buses to go through so the buses don't hit them? I used to be a school bus monitor, and that was quite an issue, go through and you get a tree limb. It would scare a lot of the kids. So just to bring it up, maybe we can table it and see what can be done with it.
Thank you.
We'll definitely have that conversation. Of course, specific spots are good to know. So
Right.
maybe we need to talk to the school district.
The one right when you pull up, go up 22nd, it hits the top of my pickup. The tree right there at that stop sign. It hits the top of my pickup.
Let the air out of the tires.
All right, yeah, we'll definitely.
Any other comment?
All right, that takes us to Personnel Committee chaired by Ms. Barbara Hughes. In her absence, not much to consider here, no old business. We don't have any new business. We have some personnel items to fall under the mayor's report.
I got something under the business, Matt.
Yes, sir. Mr. McComb.
Evidently, here 4 or 5 weeks ago, we had an issue inside the police department.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's took a long time. There's probably half these council members don't know what happened. But when somebody is working 911 dispatch, they shouldn't be threatened by another employee and interrupted. I don't know why I just found out about it, why this council, it wasn't brought up to this council by the police department or you.
Well, I planned on bringing that up here momentarily under executive session before you decided to shove it out here into the regular session.
Well, it's been
What is the facts of the issue?
Yeah. Just we need to be informed.
And I do my best to inform the council. All right, anything else under public comment? Or new business? All right, that takes us out of personnel, and we can go to the mayor's report. We do have some executive session minutes we need to review, and I would entertain a motion for executive session so that we can review those, and then also this potential purchase of property.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor? regular session. And at this time, we consider a motion to both, I don't know who wrote all those executive session meeting dates. Read into the record the ones we're going to hold and those executive session minutes we're going to do.
Okay, 3/7, should I give you all the whole? 3/17, 3/23/17, 8/15/17, 6/27/17, 4/18, and 4/24/18. We release 9/27/16, 11/14/17, 12/12/17, 1/23/18, 2/13/18.
All right. Do we have a motion to the executive session meetings as stated?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that is the only motion we have. We now have a couple of other items here. We'll start with consideration of settlement of pending complaint to make safe and secure the Brown Shoe Factory property. Mr. Blake.
Mrs. Holman's get the work completed. Mr. Hill their estimate, so we can, the city can then look further at, is that something that the city is going to now enter the agreement that's been discussed?
Okay, Mr. Bratton.
Very like to get the address of those two properties that they're gonna put up as collateral. I'd like to have those. I'd like to go by there and look at it. Anybody else wants to go look at it, let me know. I want to see what they look like. Just because they're in a good neighborhood doesn't mean that they're anything.
Well, we don't want to be in the same shape as Brown Shoe Factory.
I don't want to read them.
Up next, we have the consideration of appointment of acting police chief. And is the final meeting for Chief Chad Roberts. His resignation, I believe, is effective this evening at 11:59. And we also have with us here this evening Lieutenant Mike Laughlin, who has been serving as second in command of the department now for the last couple of years. And so I think, I know what I would like to recommend is a appointment of Mike Laughlin as acting police chief while we continue our discussions amongst the council about what we want to do moving forward with the chief's position.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to appoint Mike Laughlin, the acting chief of police, effective tonight at midnight. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Laughlin or Mr. Roberts, anything you want to add to the moment or the minute?
No, I've enjoyed my learning experience. I appreciate it.
Mr. Laughlin?
Look forward to the experience.
Excellent. All right, we have the consideration of appointment of fire chief. We had a number of applicants, and one of which was Steve McBride, who is currently, I believe, employed with the city of Carbondale, their fire department. He is a one-time police officer with the city of Murphysboro, longtime school board member in Murphysboro, and arson investigator, has written grants and been successful. I know he helped us write the grant for our the newest fire truck we have. And before I ask for that appointment, I'd entertain any discussion considering it. There was a brief negotiation of terms with Mr. McBride that included essentially all of the same terms of employment as our current Chief Swafford in terms of his vacation time and things of this nature.
We're gonna be paying a pension in on him?
Well, this is one of the big considerations with his employment. It is possible that if, I believe Chief Swafford may be able to speak to us better than I can. For him to be employed here, he has to be a member of our pension fund.
Yes, he does have to pay into it.
And so there is the possibility that if the Carbondale Pension Board would rule that he could no longer, be involved with them, and I don't know exactly how all this works legally, that he could say, hey, I'm pulling up stakes. We've had several legal opinions that say that this is done all over. It is.
My question should be, is he gonna be drawing a pension from the farmer's pension over there and then building another one here, or how's that gonna work?
Yes. Yeah. That's his intent, is to retire from Carbondale
and come here.
I think he would have a small percentage, but I didn't research that. Pretty sure that's what it is.
That's something I like to know. I don't know. I hate to see somebody take somebody else's job, and draw a pension from the job he was doing, and come over here and do the same thing. That's my only question about it.
Gary, it's certainly a worthwhile question, Mr. Blake.
I think he went out and got his own legal opinion on that.
He did.
Accepted the job, right?
He did get his own legal opinion on it.
Chief's doing the same thing.
So is it your understanding that if for some reason he couldn't do that, he's not going to stay as our police chief, fire chief?
Well, I can't speak on his behalf. A logical person probably would not continue in their employment with us if that...
Also, if he goes out and wins the lottery, he's not going to be our fire chief anymore.
Well,
I don't know how long he's going to be here.
Appoint him as his chief, why would he not be here? I'm just curious.
Well, he did call to ask if he needed to be at this meeting this evening. He was in Alabama, but said that he could make it back for the meeting, and I advised him if he was in Alabama that I wasn't going to make him get back to Southern Illinois for this meeting tonight.
Thank you.
And so that is the consideration.
So that's your recommendation around committee or whatever, I guess?
It was their recommendation to appoint Steve McBride, the fire chief at Murphysboro, effective about September 24th, I think was the Chief Swafford, do you remember?
I believe that's correct.
That was the effective date.
When?
I believe it was September the 24th, I think was the date.
I thought he had to work till the end of the year.
Well, he's still going to be working till the end of the year, I presume, Mr. Swafford.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
I move that we follow the recommendation of the committee and appoint him chief.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Show Mr. McCollum opposed. Motion carries. All right, up next, I have advisement of Smizer Grant Award. Written this down. The Smizer Trust Fund awarded the city. Oh, I wish Sandra was here. I believe it was $40,000. For some reason, I cannot remember whether it was 30 or 40. 4,000.
There's like 3 checks.
And that's that money for the upkeep of the parks, once again, Smizer and Town Center. I believe they also wanted to see a portion of it if the council found it approved to move forward with creating a downtown tip. They dedicated $10,000 of it toward helping offset the cost of that. And I am struggling to remember what the third item was. It's been a long day. Mr. Pratt.
Who was on that committee? I know Bert, especially as councilman, we come across the path of those people that's on that committee, we ought to thank them. And we ought to send them something official from the city.
We did that last year, and we'll be sure to do it again this year. I know Scott Maloney is on that committee. I know that Jim Water is a part of that committee. And I know there are members from Ava. Yeah, Mr. Wilson from Ava.
Frank Whitman?
Frank Putman may be on there, I'm not sure of that.
One more from Ava, I think it is.
Okay. I'll be sure to.
They did donate to the senior hall this year too.
Yes.
So do we need a motion to accept the $34,000?
No, I don't think we do. I believe somewhere in the neighborhood about $45,000 also to pursue their downtown improvements.
You're doing an amazing job that make us all proud.
Okay, we're looking at the calendar. We have a council meeting that would fall on December the 25th.
Good.
I don't think a motion to move our meeting to December the 20th.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. All right, that takes me to council member requests. I'll start to my right with Ms. Curry Wilson.
Good question, me and Darren's trying to find out, how many council members has got a key to the whole matter? And
I have one as well.
And we all knew you had one to the whole matter.
City Hall.
I'll put in that downstairs. Well, we've got a problem. Darren caught it and I caught it. They was about half a dumpster loaded with wood fencing. I don't know if somebody's loaned somebody their key or if it's time to change the lock and the keys again. So those keys are not supposed to be duplicated, but I know we might have enough dumpster left to get done this week. We're pushing if we don't have to do any plastic cleanup, but there was all this fencing showed up and the mattresses. There was two sets of small mattresses and one big one.
What kind of fencing was it, Gary?
Wood, just wood fencing was it.
So dog-eared fence, and you could tell it was quite old.
Kind of wired in the middle.
You know, we do smash it down every so often so we get more in it. But it showed again, of course, and I don't say that fencing down at the park, and I don't know if the housing has a key to it or not.
Shouldn't have.
But it'd be my suggestion the next time, that the park district or the housing don't get a key to it, because it's too much to follow, you know. And Darren's always good about letting somebody in, or they'll call me to let somebody in with brush. I would suggest that Darren get a new lock and we get some keys.
I could take credit for one box spring, which was in the roadway on South 20th that I picked up, threw in the back of my truck, and then loaded down there.
Yeah, I mean, there was a cushion I picked up one day on South 20th in the street, thrown in the dumps. I mean, that's part of it, but all that fencing had showed up, probably filled over half the dumpster up.
Lord.
Who's got new fencing down?
You know, if I'm cleaning up, I got the juvenile cleaning up, it goes in down there.
All right, thank you, Mr. McConnell. Mr. Urbis. Mr. Bratton.
Put that in the box with the lock or whatever for future, if we need a lock, or 5 years from now or 10, you may decide you want to switch locks again. We go.
Sandra does have a list. You're supposed to have a key, and our dumpster people do have a key, because sometimes I call them on Friday, they'll come in on Saturday and pick up our dumpster and get us a new one.
Mr. Bastian? I have nothing. Okay. Ms. Campos?
Two things. I'm just kidding. No, and the okay, and is the factory is I heard some rumors that is a little bit unsettling that they did not get the bean. It was putting back and
Steel's there, been there for 2 weeks.
because and I said my understanding is that they are
2 weeks, Gloria. I can verify that. Saw it with my own eyes.
Thank you.
Today.
Thank you.
We're doing a little touch pointing.
I sent an email to Amy Mills today, and 10 a.m., and I just wrote, it's been about a month since we last talked about the sidewalk issue and the construction at the new sauce factory. What progress or updated timeline can you provide me so I can update the council? And she just wrote back, hello, Will, we're working every day. Progress is slow but sure. I mean, that's on top of the previous email that said that quote, the contractor is confident that they will have the front cleaned up by Apple Festival. That was back on July 17th.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Pittman? Okay. That takes us to department head request, Broken Attorney Blake. Mr. Shepherd? I have nothing. Mr. Evans?
And then you can decide if you want to bring it before the council or what.
So, is that something we need to have put on the agenda?
Yeah.
Leslie?
Nothing.
Chief Swafford?
Nothing.
Chief Roberts?
Nothing.
Still Lieutenant Laughlin?
Nothing.
Mr. Mills?
Nothing.
Mr. Lee?
The person responsible for my health will be back next week, late next week. And I want y'all to keep him in mind and give me prayers as well.
No.
Without him, I wouldn't be the man I am again.
Good note to the strike anytime. Thank you for that. Mr. Jim Stewart?
No.
All right. Anybody else? I entertain a motion to adjourn.